Trevor, we've come to a farm here in County Down. It's not untypical of some of the systems in Northern Ireland compared to the south, where it's an indoor system. Yes. on a 3 times a day milking. Could you describe maybe the farm and who owns it?
Yeah, we're on Robert McCauley's farm in Rathfriland, County Down. Robert runs a 580 cow herd, high intensity herd. They're kept in pretty much all year round, producing averaging around 12,000 litres per annum.
I suppose why we've come here, I suppose we wouldn't be used to a system here of a slurry separation system. Mm-hmm. I've seen them in the UK and that, but maybe for our viewers down south, why is this system here and why is Robert using that?
Robert's been running the system here for nearly 4 years. It's an eco-better system. It presses the cow slurry, the fibre out of it, to a dry matter of between 38 and 40%. He's currently running at 12 hours every day.
For this farm here, how much is, say, quantity-wise, how much is he producing here? And is it enough to supply his bedding needs?
He's producing somewhere in the region of 9 cubic metres per day. And that's enough to supply all the cubicles.
And why is bedding important for a system like this? Why not use sawdust or whatever, or lime, or why use this method?
Yeah, Robert had been using previously sawdust. He was having some issues with mastitis, and he decided to switch over to the green bedding system. And over this past 4 years, he's been totally delighted with the system. Is constantly has very low levels of mastitis.
Okay, so on this farm here, the cows are in full time, are they? They don't go outside?
Cows are housed, pretty much all year round.
Okay, so the slurry then is all coming to one point on the shed here next door to this system here, is it?
Yeah. So the slurry, this shed is made up of part slatted tanks and solid passages. So it all feeds into the one tank. There's an electric pump operates alongside the separator. So once it starts, the separator starts and goes through the motions, runs for, as I say, around 12 hours, switches off, and that's running every night.
Okay, so what are we seeing here on top of the container, Trevor? What is the process?
Yeah, well, the process is at the top section here, it feeds in the raw slurry. It comes down into a screw or an auger, which turns very slowly, as you can see there. That forces it across. It's got resistance on the end. You'll see the weights hanging on it there, so that keeps a constant load on it, or back pressure. And around the inside of it is a stainless steel gauze, and the liquid is squeezed through that, runs out at the bottom here, across and down, and finishes up in his lagoon for storage.
Okay. Does the slurry need to be agitated, or what does the slurry need to look like when it's presented to the system? Or?
Well, in Robert's system here, it's pretty much fresh slurry all the time. So he hasn't had to use any mixing. The pump that he has on here has a mixing system on it, but he seldom uses it.
Okay. Maintenance-wise, something like that, it's dealing with slurry, it's dealing with particles or whatever. What maintenance requirements typically would a system like that need?
Well, he needs to change the gauze in it approximately every 2 years. There is a cost in that, of course, somewhere in the region of £4,000 to change that, and that's the main part in the system that does need replacing. The electric motor is a 5.5 kilowatt. And outside of that, that's really the only maintenance that he has done, other than every month or thereabouts, fortnight to a month, he would have to take the gauze out and run a power washer through it and back in, and that's quite simple to do. That could be in and out within 20 minutes.
So we might walk down, so we'll have a look at the material as it's presented. So Trevor, we're looking at the material here. What kind of dry matters would it have came in at, and what is it presented here at then?
Generally, cow slurry would be coming in around 7%, 7-8%. Of course, I think the parlour washings come in here as well. But once it's pressed, it's around about 38 to 40% dry matter in this.
So Trevor, people might ask, it's dry dung in effect. How is there not a mastitis issue, or what's the best management method to ensure we're not creating mastitis issues?
Well, Robert's working on a system here of putting on a light dressing every day, and that's probably key to his success. You know, we're hearing from him that he might have one case of mastitis every week. So it's you know, the reason for putting it on a light dusting every day is that there's not a heavy load where it could start going anaerobic, or sorry.
It's not like a sand bed either, where there's a lot of sand in a sand bed. He's only putting on enough for the day.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing.
Yes, it's only on for the day. It's a light dusting, therefore it's not building up any heat as such, and it stays nice and dry.
Yeah. So from here, how is he applying the material to the cubicle beds? How is he putting that on in practice?
He's using a system on the front end loader, which has got an auger or a conveyor belt, which shoots it out to the one side. I think he does that within probably half an hour, something like that, every day.
Investment wise, roughly what's the capital investment for a system like this, roughly?
Well, Robert's system here is designed around an old container, but generally the complete system with the bedder and a frame to hold it, which can be risen up to whatever height, just enough to get a loading shovel in underneath it. And you take that all into account, somewhere in the region of 40,000 to 42,000 pounds.
Okay, yeah. And ideally, is where the material dropped, is it ideally covered like this to keep the rain off it, or does it matter?
Yeah, it would be important to cover it. It would indeed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine. So we might have a look at the cows in the cubicle so to see what the end product is like.
Yes, very good.